I mean, for us, we just got to stay humble. I think every team is really good. I would say about 2 years ago, we were a really good team. We went to Oakland Raiders, and we fell short, and we lost that game to a team that was 1-6, or I think something like that. And, now we're going to the Cowboys, and, although they don't have their quarterback, but still, you just never know. I think the biggest factor for the Cowboys is that, they have the opportunity to beat an undefeated team.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Matchup Show presented by POWERHOME Solar. I'm Missi Matthews. That was Juju Smith-Schuster talking about the Steelers not overlooking the 2-6 Dallas Cowboys. The game on Sunday in Dallas at 4:25. Let me introduce you to today's panel. Joining us once again, Bob Labriola of Steelers.com and Steelers Digest. Don't fight me today, Labs. I brought my bell too. Mike Prisuta from the DVE Morning Show. I know he does not miss the bell at all, but now there's two today. And then we have Matt Williamson joining us from SNR. No relation to Avery Williamson, but he does know a lot about the Steelers. So guys, we will start with what we'll call the low-hanging fruit, but we do need to discuss, can the Steelers move to 8-0 with a win over the Cowboys? Labs, that would mark the best start in franchise history. Do you live in your fears, and do you think it will happen, or is this a trap game?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's a trap game, but I happen to think that this particular Steelers team might be immune to it. And the other thing is the Cowboys are really bad. They're not a division team, and they don't have Dak Prescott. And they're not even going to start Ben DiNucci, which would have been interesting, for the Western Pennsylvania people. Every category that the NFL keeps statistics in, the Cowboys are at the bottom or close to the bottom. And so, I kind of think that the Steelers will be able to get on there and win.
All right, Prisuta, we have a fan question for you to answer. This one is from Heather, and I know you and Labs say a lot. The other guys get paid too. Heather wants to know, what is the biggest key for the Steelers to not fall victim to letting it be a trap game?
Having a bus that gets them from the hotel to the stadium in a timely fashion. No, I couldn't agree with Labs more, but it is the NFL. Labs, you've done enough pregame shows with me over the last 10 years or so where I'd come in and say, boy, I've been watching the tape. There's no way they could lose to these guys. And then something happens. But here's what would have to happen. Remember the Houston game in 2002, the expansion, Houston Texans come into Heinz Field, 2 pick sixes and a fumble return for a touchdown. Remember the Patriots game, the AFC Championship game at Heinz Field, blocked field goal for a touchdown, punt return for a touchdown. It's going to have to take something dramatic, maybe a couple, 3 things dramatic. Dallas, since Dak Prescott got hurt, has 1 touchdown in 36 possessions. It's not just the quarterbacks. Everything else is a mess with injuries and instability. It's just one of those years down there. They're not ready to compete. 86-22 the last 3 games. The Steelers are going to have to lose this game. The Cowboys cannot win it.
All right, Matt, when Coach Tomlin was asked a question along this topic that we are discussing here, he said the Steelers have enough injuries to worry about getting other guys ready to play in their absence and getting guys ready to go to bring the energy. The 3rd game on the road, not something that normally happens, but it is a COVID season, so it's here. Are you buying what he's saying in terms of that?
Oh, I'm buying it. I mean, I think he'll have his team up. I think they'll handle this like a business trip. They might not blow their doors off and win by 30 or make people in Vegas happy. But like these guys said, this team that they're playing has a lot of issues. And frankly, whenever Prescott went down, I kind of looked at this as maybe this is a trap game if Andy Dalton's playing okay. But, man, the status of their quarterbacks right now and their offensive line and the pressure that those quarterbacks are going to be under, I just think that is such an advantage that I don't know how Dallas moves the football. And they're a desperate team. If you watch them against the Eagles, it was kind of reminiscent of some phases of Steeler offense last year with Wildcat and trick plays. And so the Steelers better be on alert for those type of things, special teams, fake kicks, and things like that, because they're very desperate.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break here on the Matchup Show. When we return, we will see if the Steelers' run defense can rebound in Dallas. We'll discuss that and much more. We'll be right back.
The Steelers official mobile app is your window into your favorite team. Behind-the-scenes access.
Oh, man, he is just running so hard.
Live audio, including game broadcasts.
That's what you call smart football.
Statistics. Press conferences and interviews. And Steelers Nation Unite exclusive access and benefits. That's all in the Steelers official mobile app. Download it for free today.
Welcome back, everyone. The Steelers defense not happy with the amount of yards, 265, that they gave up rushing to the Baltimore Ravens. They got the win, though, so a lot they wanted to clean up this week. So, guys, let's talk about that run defense. Labs, I'll start with you. How do they rebound this week to get over that bad taste in their mouth from the Ravens game?
Well, Missy, Ezekiel Elliott is a famous name, well-known name, among NFL running backs, but he's not even averaging 4 yards a carry. This is not going to be a running attack to pose the kind of problems to the Steelers like Tennessee's or like Baltimore's. Someone mentioned in the first segment, I forget who it was, but Dallas's offensive line. It's not very good. Ezekiel Elliott isn't even averaging 4 yards a carry. And so I think that this could be an opportunity for the Steelers to kind of, make themselves feel better about themselves in terms of a run defense. And if they do what Mike Tomlin was talking about, emphasizing this week, which is concentrate on their own performance rather than viewing this game in terms so much of the opponent, I think that they can be successful and stymie Dallas's running attack and leave the state of Texas feeling better about themselves, especially their run defense.
Prisuta, Ezekiel Elliott, as Lab said, not having the season that is attached usually to his name. He has been held under 100 yards rushing in every game this season, even the first 5 with Dak Prescott. Is this as simple for the Steelers as just stopping the run and even maybe giving guys like Isaiah Buggs more reps, knowing that you do have some injuries among that D-line?
Yeah, I think that, simplicity of the running game, it couldn't be a more stark contrast to what they faced last Sunday with Baltimore and that myriad of fakes and misdirections and multiple guys carrying the ball. Such a diverse, unique attack for the Ravens. If you watch the Cowboys-Eagles game Sunday night, Chris Collinsworth referenced all those trick plays that Matt referenced a little while ago and how goofy that was. When they were just running the ball, Collinsworth called it Kiwi football. Give it to your best back and have him run behind your best blocker. For the Cowboys, that's guard Zach Martin. He's been one of the only rock of stability on that Dallas offensive line, which has had 3 left tackles, 2 centers, a couple of right guards. Martin got shifted around one game, and 3 right tackles. They were just giving it to Zeke Elliott. Follow Martin, try to get as much as you can, and then we'll think of something tricky, and then we'll punt. I think they have a chance to stop the run and feel a lot better about themselves. I think they should feel good about the progress they've made in run defense this year. I thought it was very good up to the Baltimore game. The trick between now and Thanksgiving will be to figure out a better way to stop the Ravens, but they're not playing the Ravens Sunday. They're playing the Cowboys. I expect them to stop the run.
Okay, Matt, we have a fan question from Rose for you along this topic. She wants to know, how can the Steelers defense game plan efficiently this week for a quarterback that hasn't played many snaps, and we still don't know who the quarterback is going to be? Mike McCarthy said probably sometime on Saturday they will determine that.
Yeah, and like these guys said, I don't think that Dallas will get a lot established on the ground. The blocking is poor. Everyone's keying on Elliott with these recent quarterbacks in there. And to Lab's point, Elliott is not getting a lot of yardage on his own. He's starting, the guy's had a lot of carries in his career and is starting to maybe show signs of that catching up to him. And assuming that holds true, then it's easy street. To be very honest, if you can stop the run on early downs and early in this game, and with the Steelers' pressure packages, I don't think they have to, stray from what they do whatsoever. Keep Minka over the top to eliminate any big plays with these good receivers, And this quarterback, whoever he is, and I really don't even care who it is going to be confused and hit and hurry.
All right, guys, let's talk about the Steelers offense. You hear it every game, even during the week. No one is satisfied, felt like they have not been able to put a complete game together. Labs, we'll start with you. Do you still feel like this is a run-heavy offense?
I really think that the Steelers offense, what it's shown me anyway, is that it can be whatever it wants to be and or needs to be in a particular game. I mean, I really, really, really have been impressed with Ben's performance throughout this season in a lot of the different aspects that teams come to rely on a franchise quarterback. And this is what this guy is. And, even like the second half against the Ravens, he can give you those kind of things. Just his awareness, his ability to get to the right play, his understanding, his knowledge of his own personnel. The guy he is such an advantage for the Steelers to have, and really, it just really has come into focus for me after living through last season. And you see what you don't have, and then you realize what you're missing. And so I think that the Steelers offense against Dallas, whatever they need to do, whichever way they need to approach it, whether it's run heavy or pass heavy or, balance or whatever they need to do, I think that he can help them get there. And I think they have the personnel to get the job done.
Prisuta, the Steelers right now are averaging 30.1 points per game. That is tied for 5th in the NFL. When I think of the 30 points, it goes back to the Todd Haley era. Are they maybe doing?
Possibly. I don't have a real good handle on how the play. I know Ben says every game I need to play better, and he says a lot of quarterback things that the quarterback is supposed to say. Kudos to him for that. He's being a leader. I want to piggyback a little bit off of what Lab said, though, because I think what you saw in the second half of that Ravens game is something we might see a little more than we thought we might have to see before Devin Bush got hurt. That is going to be a very difficult fix for the defense. I know Robert Spillane has made some splash plays in the time he's gotten to play, but a lot of yards on the ground last week, a lot of total yards given up. That offense, what if the Ravens had scored on that second to last drive? Could Ben Roethlisberger have taken them the length of the field in a minute 40 and a minute 30 and gotten a field goal or a touchdown, whatever they would have needed? I think it's nice to have that extra gear that they showed. He's been great about getting the ball out of his hands quickly. He's been great about not forgetting the running game. I really like the way the offense was progressing in the early weeks of the season, but you saw a group that was getting a little desperate in the second half against Baltimore. And what do you do when you get desperate? You turn to your best player and you say, figure this out, cuz get us home. And you put 4 wide receivers and a tight end out, and you spread them out, and you let Ben do that voodoo that he does so well. I'm encouraged by the play of the offense.
Matt, what do you think about this Steelers offense? And is James Conner having a low-key, very quiet but successful season so far through the first half?
Well, I'm expecting Conner to have a huge day this week. I mean, you watch this Cowboys run defense, and wow. Their fits are bad. Their tackling's bad. I rarely say this over my career, but their effort is bad. So I think that sets up really well. Overall, I don't see a lot of concerns with this offense. To Lab's point, I think they're very balanced. They can use a very diverse group of skill position players and throw a lot of groupings at different teams. Ben's managing games really well, and that's not a negative. People are like, oh, he's a game manager. He's perfect in that capacity. I wish they were a little better on early downs, and Ben's deep passing has me a little concerned, but not this week.
All right, guys, we're going to take one more break here on the Matchup Show. When we return, get your bells ready. It is time for our keys to the game. We'll be right back.
The Steelers official mobile app is your window into your favorite team. Behind-the-scenes access.
Oh, man, he is just running so hard.
Live audio, including game broadcasts.
That's what you call smart football.
Statistics. press conferences and interviews, and Steelers Nation Unite exclusive access and benefits. That's all in the Steelers official mobile app. Download it for free today.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for our Keys to the Game presented by your neighborhood Ford store. All right, Labs, the bell means you're up first. Give us your key to a Steelers win on Sunday.
Don't give the Cowboys any reason to believe early in the game. I remember that maybe the most disastrous instance of losing to a team you should beat lately was out in Oakland. Terrell Pryor was the Raiders quarterback at the time, and he went 93 yards for a touchdown run on their first series. And I just thought that kind of really energized the Raiders and sucked the life out of the Steelers. You don't want to get caught in anything like that. You don't want to do what happened against the Tennessee Titans, although it happened in the second half with the busted coverage on the 70-plus yard touchdown pass that kind of woke up the Titans. You don't want to do what Lamar Jackson did in the game in Baltimore last week, throw a pick six on your first third down play or second snap of the game or whatever it was. So the Steelers need to avoid that kind of stuff. You don't necessarily have to jump out to an early lead and blow them out right from the beginning, but if you don't give the Cowboys any reason to believe that they can win, they won't.
Okay, Prisuta, what's your key?
I'm gonna leave it at keep doing what you've been doing. And what I mean by that is I think a game such as the one the Steelers are going to play against Dallas is won or lost to a large degree on the Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, the preparation that's either done or not done during the week. And I think this Steelers team is taking preparation. I think it's taking coaching. I want to go back to that Ravens game one more time. Beforehand, you heard Mike Tomlin say, got to protect the football, can't turn it over. These guys punched the ball out. You know, it wasn't just the usual hyperbole. The Ravens in general and Marlon Humphrey in particular punched the ball out of receivers' hands better than anybody I've ever seen. So what did you see from the Steelers? You saw James Conner and Juju Smith-Schuster running with two hands on the ball. Catch it, cover it up, get what you can. We're not losing this game because we're going to let them force turnovers. Even the one that they pried away from Chase Claypool, he had two hands on it. Just a great play by Peters. But I think the Steelers have been really good this year at identifying what matters and what doesn't and paying close attention to that. And they're disciplined enough to stay with it. So I think they will have their bases covered. A little baseball analogy for you there, Labs. I don't think they're going to get caught sleeping at the switch against this Cowboys team, which could induce slumber.
I think I'll have to ring my bell for you using a baseball analogy on Lab's behalf, of course. All right, Matt, give us your key to Sunday.
Yeah, it's along these same lines. I think you just have to recognize how desperate this team is and recognize that they still have some very good players. You know, Zach Martin, their three receivers, Zeke Elliott, couple guys on defense that can be impact players. And if you allow them to be and get them in a position when they can hurt you, they might. But what I really mean by that is be very aware of surprise on sides, flea flickers, you know, zero blitzes, things like that are just desperate teams need to do because they're a desperate team.
Okay, guys, that's going to do it for this edition of the Matchup Show. For Labs, Prisuta, and Williamson, I'm Missy. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see everybody back here next week.